Today, we have a requested show and tell. No, not that type of show and tell. That's only on OnlyFans. That's onlyfans.com/the. So today we have a show and tell that was requested, and that is a friction fit, self-standing, collapsible shelf. God, I don't even know how this is gonna fit in the title. It is a shelf that I've built for our pop-up camper. Now, if you're not here for a pop-up camper shelf, this might actually still be useful for you. However, the limitations on this is that it doesn't support a ton of weight, but it is a collapsible shelf that you can use to put, get stuff up off the ground or put stuff on that's not too heavy. So that's actually pretty nice. And so the nice thing is it's collapsible as well. I can fold it down. So in camping in our little camper, space is a premium, trying to pack crap up. So this one folds down. And the way that this friction fit works, the general idea is that you take two pieces of lumber, in this case I've got some little 2x2s, and then you have the table leg, in this case plyboard, and they're gonna, when two boards love one another, so friction fit is where we get two boards sliding in between and fitting friction-wise that can be taken out easily. And so this will break down nice and easy. So let's take a look at the way that it works, and then I'll kind of Tarantino it and show you, or really describe how it is that I built this from kind of start to finish. Even though it's already done, I'll kind of walk you through that process. All right, so the basics of this, of course, is I've got a piece of plyboard here, and it slides simply between two pieces of 2x2. So overall, what I have here, you can use a piece of plyboard for the shelf. You want anything that's 1/2 inch or maybe even thicker, because the span of this is going to be dependent on your length of the shelf that you need, or for instance, your pop-up, okay? And so there's nothing supporting this except the board itself. So you want to make sure you get a nice thick board. Anything too thin, it's just going to bow and it's not going to work, okay? So this is the basics of that friction fit. It's simply going to slide in between those two, and it's going to work in that manner. Now, it's pretty well in there, but there's a lot of give to it. Now, so for those of you that are dealing with a pop-up camper, the way that I did this is I simply measured the bunks where my feet would go, and I measured the length on the inside of that frame. And so that inside frame is where this board tucks down between the bed and the frame, or the mattress rather, and the frame of that bunk end. And that actually gives a little bit more support to this, okay? Because when this is upright, any of this lateral movement is really gonna kind of crank on this and could cause some issues, which is why I said you don't want to put a ton of heavy stuff on there. We use it mainly just for our clothing bags. We're only out for a couple of days at a time, so it's plenty. We're not bringing tons of stuff. Okay, so what I then do is I cut my board to length for my shelf. What I recommend is that you also sand off any corners so that you don't have any sharp surfaces, so it doesn't ruin the canvas in your pop-up. For those that are just making this on your own, just trim the corners anyway. Shelf corners are the worst. So that's the board. And so the way that this is built, I did use some more plyboard for this, is I went ahead and measured where these legs would be on the shelf and marked it, okay? And so I was able to use the edge to kind of mark in how many inches I needed, and then I double checked to make sure that these indeed would fit there, okay? So the next step is pretty easy. The way that I did mine is this is flush to the end. I've used a 2x2 here, is I would apply my clamps, okay, like so. So I get my board in place on this side. Then I'd flip it over and I would drill my pilot holes on here. So you can see from this end, I've already got the screws in there, but I drill my pilot holes to prevent any splitting. And then I would use some of these screws. This is, I'm trying to remember if it's a 2-inch, I think it's like just a 2-inch wood screw, okay? And so then I would screw this part in, okay? So this one first, so that one's not here. Then I would take my clamps off. So now I've got my edge, right? So I know my measurement of this will be on the back side of the shelf, and that's my inside measurement of my mattress and bunk end. So then I would take the leg part, take my other 2x2, and then you want to attach clamps to that. Now, when you clamp these on here, you definitely want to put some tension on it. And these hand clamps are perfect for that. But if you're using like a super vise on these, you don't want to get it too tight on there, or it's going to be really difficult to get these out. The thing about these 2x2s is you're mainly looking for height and stability, so that there's just basically something to grab onto, okay? So then, same process, these are clamped, flip it back over, drill your pilot holes on the other side, and then come back with the screws, and then you have this set up here. Now, I opted not to glue mine. You could. I opted, like I said, just not to do that. I don't know why. I mean, I do know why. The main reason that I decided to do it was I was lazy. No other way around it. I'm lazy. But if I needed to repair it or fix it or something, I could actually take the boards off because they're just in there by screws. And it does give it a little bit of wiggle room, so it's a little bit easier to put everything, like the little legs, in there, okay? So that's it. That's the basic friction fit, self-standing, collapsible shelf that I put in my bunk ends. And so these go over the end, we slide our feet underneath, bags on top, and it works quite well. I thought this might actually be a really good project to build kind of a bigger bed out of it, and you could have an extra bed, but I don't know if that's too much weight or what. So I don't know. That's another thing rattling around in there. So who knows? Anyway, that is our friction fit shelf that we take with us when we go camping. So hopefully this is an easy project that will help you kind of organize your camper for those of you that are camping, or if you just need a little shelf temporarily for whatever, go for it. As I said, my only piece of advice is you don't want to use super thin plyboard. So, you know, I have this piece and I was like, I'm just gonna use it. It's a craft piece, I guess is what they call it. I don't know, this is what, $1 million worth of lumber right here at this point in time. So your mileage may vary on all of that. Anyway, thanks again, everybody. And I hope to see you on the next video. No. Surely they don't really think I have an OnlyFans. Yeah, okay. But what if I did? So, like, do you think there's like a market for that kind of thing? Yeah. No, me neither. I didn't think so either. I was just asking for a friend or something.